Hi, I'm Sarah Vavra, and in this video we're going to do some work on the thoracic spine. That's the part of your back that's above the lumbar, the lower back, and it's below the neck. So it's this middle part of our body that's designed to be mobile and flexible, but tends to be a little bit more locked in, mostly because of our lifestyle, the kinds of things that we do. We generally sit a lot, and the sitting makes everything kind of fuse together. So it's very important that we do some exercises that keep it moving, particularly if we're people who end up having some lumbar or lower back pain. We want this upper part to stay mobile and flexible. Remember, this part of our back is designed to, it's designed to flex and extend and to side bend, right? And to rotate and to do lots of those things at the same time, right? That's the area where you would swing your golf club, or if you were playing tennis, you want to have that ability to rotate and to move quickly. Somebody who throws a ball, shot put, any of that kind of stuff. So this is an area that it's really, really important that we keep it mobile, and it's an area that often isn't. All right, so for this, a good thing to have would be a yoga block if you happen to have one. You can also use just some pillows. That works as well. So we're going to come down to the floor. We're going to be on our side. So if you're a person who's kind of hippie and it would feel better for you to have a pillow or some extra support underneath your hip, go right ahead and do that. Some people have a little bit less adipose tissue here, and they could use some support. All right, so we're going to come all the way down to our back, and I'm on my right side. We're going to extend the right arm out to the side at a 90-degree angle, and then we're going to bend the knees and take that left knee, and I'm going to just prop my block up. I like the yoga block because it has so many different options for how high you want it to be. I'm going to place the yoga block under my left leg, and then I'm going to extend my right leg down a little bit, right? And in this position, I'm going to make sure that my lower back is nice and long and supported. I want to make sure that my rear end isn't sticking out in the back. So I want to keep that nice, almost tucked under without straining the low back. All right. So we're in this position where our arms are extended, and because I'm on my right side, it's as if my right arm were going out to the 9 o'clock position, and my left hand is resting on top. And keeping the whole right side of the body melting into the ground and the lower back nice and long, I'm going to inhale and open up my body, open up the chest, and reach back to that 3 o'clock position. And then bring the arm back down. I'm going to do that a couple of times. Adding breath, inhaling, and exhaling. And as you inhale and see if you can allow that belly to expand again with the breath. Exhaling, and there should be no pain at all in your lower back. We don't want to have, there's no movement, right? The idea is that you're moving this part of your upper body without having any movement at all in the lower back or the lower body. Good. So if you're feeling absolutely fantastic when you're here, but when you're here, the back starts to hurt, the lower back hurts, you know that you're using your lower back, right? So stay in that range of motion that allows you to not feel the pain. Focusing on getting mobility where we can. Now we're going to take that left hand and lower it a bit, somewhere between a 6 o'clock and a 9 o'clock position. And then we're going to reach it up and back. And if you want, you can look back behind you. And then again, we're going to lower it down. So think about lowering down by your knee and inhaling up and over at that diagonal. Lower back is again staying very stable. And one more time. Beautiful. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you can either roll over, or in my case, I'm just going to turn around and do the same thing on the other side. So this time, left leg is down, right knee is supported, right hip is supported, the body's supported, the spine is long, and the lower back is nice and long, right? So you want to keep that sense. Just gently tuck your fanny under just a little bit, and then bring the arms out. And take your time to be able to adjust yourself, right? You want to make sure that your body is in a good place. Inhaling, opening up, and exhaling, lowering down. Inhaling, opening, and exhaling, lowering. Inhaling, opening, and exhaling, lowering. Inhaling, opening, and exhaling, lowering. And then lower that arm and maybe even let it rest on your leg. That's a nice place. Good marker, right? Inhaling, reaching up and back at that diagonal, and then lowering down again. Inhaling up, keep reaching through the fingers, stretch, and lowering down. Inhaling, reaching up, and lowering down. Good. Beautiful. And so that's the first part of getting that nice thoracic motion. All right, we're going to come to seated position, whatever that is for you. And I'm actually going to take this block and put it under my hips to get my hips up a little bit higher. I like that a little bit better. And then relax the shoulders down. We're going to take our hands, bring the fingertips to right behind your ears. And notice when you do that, I totally felt that when I did that. I arched my lower back. So what we want to do is feel ourselves be able to hold this position without arching the back. And so what I noticed, because I did that, I'm going to cheat a little bit and use the support of the wall and see how that feels. Right. So let's come on up and make your way to that wall. And again, we're going to take our fingertips and bring them behind our ears and press the back of the arms into the wall. Press the back of the head into the wall. And then we're going to pull those elbows together. And as we pull the elbows together, we're still keeping the middle of our spine on the wall as well as our lower back. So we're just getting that nice support. We're going to inhale and open up as wide as you can. And exhale and pull that in. So we're going to practice that a couple of times, and we're really focusing on, in particular, that lower back, that lumbar spine staying supported as we do this motion. And again. Good. And then release. All right. Now, keeping your lower back on the wall, we're going to round the shoulders away from the wall. The way we're going to do that is we're going to imagine that we're making a hug. We're hugging forward and we're rounding the shoulders. And then we're going to pull our arms back and squeeze our shoulder blades together as if you're trying to pinch the wall or the fabric of your shirt. Keep the back of your head and keep your lower back on the wall. So again, we're going to round here and then pull back. And round. Good. And pull back. Very nice. And then release. We're going to lower the shoulders down and breathe. 2, 3. Good. And since we have this nice wall to use, it's a good idea to use it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to need is a table. or you could even use a wall. I'll meet you at your table. Hi, so I'm going to use this little cart to demonstrate another thoracic stretch, and it's also good for getting the lats. You might feel it up in here when we do this. All right, so for this stretch, what we're going to do is we're going to reach our arms forward, and we're coming into kind of a prayer position. Now I'm going to bend my knees and tuck the tailbone under to keep my low back nice and long, and simply drop my head down. I'm going to step back a little bit more. And in this position, we want to think about our chest dropping through the arms, and we're breathing. And again, you shouldn't feel any pain at all in the lower back. If this is more intense than you like, see what it feels like to do one arm at a time. And then perhaps switch. And keep that low back nice and long. We're pulling the abdominals into support in this position. And then if you have the space for this, right, you can find that prayer position. Right? Bend at the elbows so the apex of your fingers are pointing up, and again dropping down. And so this is really starting to move into all kinds of interesting territory for me. Keep the low back long, but continue to breathe in deeply. Drop the belly. And we want to hold this for many slow, deep breaths. Good. And then gradually make your way out of that position, right? And roll your shoulders and release. Good. And so now that we have that great stretch in our repertoire, you can also do that on the wall. If that felt like it was something you needed, I know it's something I need, you can do that more often. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is a little bit more complicated, but I invite you to join me for this part of the mobility exercises. All right, so for this one, we're going to come to all fours. And again, it's very important to remember to keep that lower back nice and long. And one of the ways you can do that is to take that yoga block, to remind you, and then rest it there on the sacrum. Right? And so that's going to give you a sense of whether or not you're moving around too much or not. Right? We're going to come to all fours, and we're going to take the fingertips of the left hand and again put them behind the ear. Now again, we don't want to have any twisting in that lower back. So we're going to inhale and open up as wide as we can, and then exhale. Bring that elbow towards the right arm. And this is for that nice thoracic stretch here. Trying to keep the hips nice and level, and bring that arm down, that elbow down. Inhaling, opening up, exhaling, reaching through. And we can do that many times. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, it's lifting up, get that nice stretch, and move with your breath, curling under, inhaling, And exhaling through. Inhaling. And exhaling through. And release. And we'll do the same thing again. Bring it over here. We're going to inhale here. And if this feels okay for you, see if you can reach up and through the arm without twisting that lower back. Good. And then bring it down and come through. Or reach through and get that nice stretch. And then up and extend. And up and through. And then the same thing on the other side. Fingertips behind the head, inhaling, reaching up and through. And inhaling up and exhaling through. Good. And then releasing and keeping that lower back exactly as it is. We're going to round the spine. Imagine you're expanding the place between your shoulder blades, and then drop the chest through, pinching your shoulder blades together. So this is a little bit different than cat and cow, where we get that strong round sensation. We're trying to move the middle of the back, that nice thoracic spine, without getting a lot of movement in the lumbar spine. Good. And then we'll release. And then the last thing that I think is really great to do, if you happen to have a foam roller, then I would use that. If you don't have one, you can just take a nice towel, like a beach towel, and roll it up so that you have some support. So we're going to use the foam roller or the towel, lift ourselves up, put that bolster, that towel, that foam roller right between your glutes, and start to melt down, supporting your body on that roller, and then allow your arms to release. And again, inhaling and exhaling. And take several big breaths in and out. Breathing in for 4. Holding for 2. Exhaling out for 6. And then as you're ready, releasing and coming off of whatever you have there. So hopefully you feel a little bit more open in your thoracic spine. You have a little bit more mobility there. Remember, we want to have mobility in our hips, mobility in our thoracic, and stability in our lumbar spine. I'm going to offer you some core exercises coming up next that will help to bring more support and stabilization and strength in the stomach and the sides and the low back to help tighten up the stability part of your body while you're working on that mobility too. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.